Okay, next, when body fluid volume is decreased. Okay, so already we have seen when the body volume is increased. So how the kidneys regulate. Now here, when the body fluid volume is decreased, which means water quantity is decreased. So in this situation, how the kidneys regulates this situation. So here, so normally the body fluid volume is decreased by three ways. Three ways. First one, excess of blood loss, excess of blood loss. Next, profuse sweating, profuse sweating. Next, intaking of less water. So mainly in these situations, our body fluid volume is decreased. Okay. So excessive of blood loss. So when the any accidents or in any other things, if the excessive blood loss is takes place. Next, profuse sweating. So profuse if sweating is increased, the water is eliminated to the outside. Next, intaking of less water. We are taking the very less water. So in this condition, what will happen? The body fluid volume is decreased. So our kidney. So let us we will discuss the how the kidneys regulate this situation. So first, so it is also regulated by different ways. First way is decreasing ultrafiltration. So first method is decreasing ultrafiltration. Okay. So when the body fluid volume is decreased, okay, which means blood pressure is also decreased. Our blood pressure is high. So whenever body fluid volume is decreased, the blood pressure is high, the water quantity is less here. So what will happen? The efferent arteriole small contraction is takes place, constriction is takes place in the efferent arteriole. So when efferent arteriole, so efferent arteriole means it brings the blood to the glomerulus by the efferent arteriole. So efferent arteriole, just some constriction is takes place. So it leads to the uh, ultrafiltration rate is decreased. Glomerular filtration rate is decreased, means the blood flow is decreased to the glomerulars. Okay, so here some constriction is takes place, so blood flow is decreased to the glomerulus. So that's why glomerular filtration rate is also decreased, so less nephric fluid is formed. So less nephric fluid is formed. So less nephric fluid forms the less amount of urine. Okay, so less amount of urine, but hypertonic urine, high concentrated urine is produced. So here water levels are decreased, so that's why hypertonic urine is produced in this situation. Okay, so here ultrafiltration is decreased. Next condition. Next, ADH hormone is increased or reabsorption rate is increased. Reabsorption rate is increased. Second situation. So increased by the ADH hormone. Okay. So when the body fluid volume when the body fluid volume is decreased, okay, this situation is identified by osmoreceptors. Okay, so by this uh, osmoreceptors they identified that situation. So finally the hypothalamus secretes ADH hormone, ADH or antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin hormone secreted from hypothalamus and released by pituitary gland. So this here ADH, excess amount of ADH hormone is secreted. So this stimulates the increasing of reabsorption of water from DCT and collecting duct. Okay, reabsorption, excess amount of water is reabsorbed into the tissues. So here finally to produce hypertonic less quantity of hypertonic urine, or less quantity of urine is produced due to the ADH hormone. So here ADH hormone play important role. So whenever our body fluid volume is decreased, okay, this information is identified by osmoreceptors. So by the osmoreceptors, hypothalamus secretes the ADH hormone. This ADH hormone increases the reabsorption of water. So the excess amount of water, that water ions added to the tissues or body fluids. Okay, so if this ADH hormone deficiencies takes place, if the ADH hormone is deficiency takes place, what will happen? The reabsorption process is not occur. Okay, if sufficient amount of ADH hormone is not supplied to the blood, okay, if ADH hormone deficiencies takes place, what will happen? Here reabsorption of water is not takes place. So what will happen? Excess amount of water, that water is excreted into the outside. Okay, already here the water quantity is less, but here if ADH hormone is absent, the water is eliminated to the more water is eliminated to the outside. So that condition is called diabetes insipidus. So that condition is called diabetes insipidus. So due to the deficiency of ADH hormone. Okay, so this is the second condition. So this is the second way. Next regulation is RAS. Okay, next regulation is RAS. RAS means renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. RAS means renin angiotensin aldosterone system. Okay, so here renin is a enzyme. Okay, so this enzyme is secreted from juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, so the here renin is an enzyme. This enzyme is secreted from juxtaglomerular apparatus. So we will discuss about what is juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, so this juxtaglomerular apparatus has two types of the cells. Okay, macula densa and juxtaglomerular cells. Okay, so here what is macula densa, where they are present? Next, juxtaglomerular cells, where they are present. We will see. So in kidney, the nephron structure is arranged very close manner. Okay, it is a tube like structure. It is arranged in very close manner. So as a result, the DCT, distal convoluted tubule is close contact to the efferent arteriole. So as a result, here some cells are modified. So for example, here this is the Bowman's capsule. So here, for example, this is the Bowman's capsule. Okay. Next, this one is efferent arteriole. It divides into many branches. This is called glomerulus. This is efferent arteriole. This is efferent arteriole. Okay. Next, the next proximal convoluted tubule, Henle loop, DCT. this DCT comes in contact with, for example, here the section cutting of the DCT. So this is a DCT. Okay. So when the DCT comes to contact with efferent arteriole, here some cells get modified. Okay. So this is the DCT. So here these cells, some cells get modified, called as macula densa. Macula densa means the cells of DCT. Okay, the cells of DCT are called macula densa. Okay, next, so at the same time here the cells of efferent arteriole. So here, so these efferent arterial cells are also modified to form juxtaglomerular cells. So these are cells of efferent arteriole. Okay. So these two cells together called juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay. Juxtaglomerular apparatus means here the DCT, when the DCT comes in contact with efferent arteriole to form a special structure. So here it has two types of the cells, macula densa. Macula densa means that cells of DCT. Next, juxtaglomerular cells means the cells of efferent arteriole. So here this juxtaglomerular cells secretes the renin enzyme. So this renin enzyme is very essential for water balance mechanism or osmoregulation. So let us we will see the how is renin is regulates the water balance. So whenever water quantity is decreased, so body fluid volume is also decreased. Okay, so this situation whenever the body fluid volume is decreased, okay, the situation is identified by juxtaglomerular cells. These cells secrete the renin enzyme. Okay, so the renin enzyme is secreted from juxtaglomerular cells. Now this renin enzyme is essential for, it converts the angiotensinogen. Angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1. Okay, so in the presence of renin enzyme, so here angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1. Angiotensinogen is a plasma protein, present in the blood. Next, secreted by liver. So it is secreted by, it's formed in the liver, secreted by liver. It's a plasma protein. Next, this angiotensinogen converted into angiotensin 1 in the presence of renin enzyme. For this conversion, this renin enzyme is essential. So when the renin enzyme is secreted, when the body fluid volume is decreased. So now this angiotensin 1 then furtherly it converts into angiotensin 2. Okay, then angiotensin 2 stimulates the adrenal gland, especially adrenal cortex. So finally it's the adrenal gland secretes the aldosterone hormone. So aldosterone hormone. So this hormone is increases the reabsorption of sodium ions. Okay, so this leads to the increasing the reabsorption of water from DCT and collecting duct. Okay, so finally reabsorption of water takes place to produce hypertonic urine. Hypertonic urine is produced. So that water is absorbed into the tissues. So to produce high concentrated or hypertonic urine is eliminated to the outside. So this mechanism is called RAS mechanism. Okay, so this is mechanism is called RAS mechanism. This mechanism, when it is work, when the water levels are decreased in our body, so the renin enzyme is secreted. So renin enzyme is secreted from juxtaglomerular cells, okay, or juxtaglomerular apparatus. So this renin enzyme converts the angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. One converts to 1 converted into angiotensin 2. This angiotensin 2 stimulates the adrenal gland. So adrenal gland secretes the aldosterone hormone. So this aldosterone hormone stimulates the reabsorption of sodium ions, okay, from the renal tubule. Then it increases the reabsorption of water from DCT and collecting duct. So this is the one situation. Next, ANF. ANF means atrial natriuretic factor. Atrial natriuretic factor. This factor is secreted from atrial wall of heart. Okay, heart can be divided into 4 chambers, atria and ventricles. So the wall of atria secretes this factor. Okay, so this factor regulates the water balance. Okay, so whenever the water body fluids, when the body fluid volume is increased, okay, whenever body fluid volume is increased or blood pressure is decreased. So in these situations, what will happen? The wall of atria secretes the enzyme, secretes the ANF. The wall of atria secretes the ANF. So this ANF decreases the secretion of renin enzyme. Okay, it decreases the secretion of renin enzyme, which means here this factor works antagonistic to RAS. Okay, antagonistic to RAS, which means it works against the RAS. So whenever the body fluid volume is decreased, so this situation atrial wall secretes the ANF, atrial natriuretic factor. So this factor, it decreases the secretion of renin. So what will happen? So here the water reabsorption process is decreased. So finally to produce hypotonic urine. So through the hypotonic urine, this excess amount of water is present here. So this excess amount of water is excreted or eliminated to the outside. Okay, so this is regulation of heat.